Good morning. We're going to do a little restorative practice today. So feel free to just take a comfortable seat. So, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's sitting on your knees in hero pose or sitting on a cushion from your couch, or if you've got a little meditation cushion, just somewhere comfortable because we're going to be seated here for a little bit at the beginning. So, you just want to be able to sit tall. Roll your shoulders back. And just take a second here to close your eyes. And we're just going to connect with our breath. And just watch that amazing movie, 13 Lives, I think it's called, about the rescue in Thailand of all the soccer players. And one of the main things I took out of it was just how genuinely amazing that group of kids were. And they were just able to stay so calm and collected. And one of the things that their coach, who was with them, taught them was how to meditate. And that's how they endured all those weeks alone in a wet cave, no sunlight, no food, was they were able to simply sit, calm their minds by focusing on the simplicity of their in-breath and their out-breath. You can create a little ujjayi breath, that audible sound at the back of your throat. And that ujjayi is just a gentle contraction, like you're just hindering the flow of the breath just a little bit. Gives your mind a place to focus. And start to notice how long your exhale is. And see if you can begin to even out the length of your inhale to match the length of your exhale. And continue with these even, steady, rhythmic breaths. I'm just going to play for a couple minutes a singing bowl. Hopefully the sound picks up in my AirPods. And this singing bowl is tuned to E, which is the solar plexus area of your body. So sternumish area. So hopefully, again, the sound will come through and you can just allow it to resonate through your torso, through your heart, your ribs. Just let the sound wash over you. No expectation. Just let it be what it is. I love to pull a little card from our bar blend program at the beginning of my practice, at the beginning of my day. Just always a nice little reminder for a focus. So today, the card is I am proud. So take a moment to repeat those three words in your mind. The words I am on your inhale and the word proud on your exhale. Sometimes we don't give ourselves the opportunity to experience being proud. Maybe as a child, we were told that was vanity, selfish. That's not true. We should all pause every now and then and take a moment to acknowledge the things, the actions that we're responsible for that make us proud. I am proud. I am proud. I am proud. I take deep pleasure in my own achievements. And with that recognition in your heart, go ahead and slowly begin to wiggle your fingers a little and your toes. Roll your shoulders up back, down, and forward. Couple more times. Let your shoulders relax all the way down away from your ears. If you're sitting cross-legged, just go ahead and switch the cross of your legs. Or if you need to completely change position, you can do that too. Let's move into the head and neck. Really being observant this morning in our practice, observing the edge that your body has, acknowledging that, respecting it. So the head and neck can be troublesome because we have very tiny vertebrae up there in our cervical spine. There's a lot of things going on in the head. So let's move with respect. Very small head circles first. And every time I do this with AirPods in, I think, can they hear what I hear in my in my neck right now? Because it's like packing peanuts. Little circles. Again, just acknowledging the edges. Just move in that comfort zone today. We're not pushing anything. We're not overstretching or overdoing in any way. All right, slowly circle the other direction. Just keep your breath steady, full. Last circle here. And then let your head completely drop where your chin drops towards your sternum. Still maintain a nice tall spine. So you can imagine little roots through your sits bones, through your ischial tuberosities. They're grounding, rooting into the earth, and the rest of your spine is growing up towards the sun like the trunk of a tree. And then we'll take our head the opposite direction. Again, honoring the limits of your cervical spine. So letting your chin reach up towards the ceiling. And think about that throat chakra right now. The energy sometimes trapped in the throat from unspoken words. Just breathe that out. Feel like your throat is just free of any constriction. And then bring your head back to center. Just kind of bobblehead it for a second, side to side. And then we're going to drop our right ear towards our right shoulder. So you should feel elongation in the left side of your neck, left shoulder maybe. And keeping your head tilted to the right, go ahead and reach your left hand out to the side, just in a diagonal. So you get a little extra stretch into the shoulder, deep breaths. And gently bring your hand back to your knee, bring your head back to center again, a little bobblehead moment. And let's go to the other side. Left ear to your left shoulder first. Feel that initial stretch. And then slowly reach your right hand out into the diagonal. And take several deep breaths. Bring your hand back to your knee, your head back to center, and let it bobblehead a little. All right, slowly open your eyes if they were closed. Let's bring our fingertips right to our shoulders. And we're just going to circle now with our elbows. So our elbows are going to come forward, up, back, and down. Holy moly, does that feel good? Forward, up, back and down. And admittedly, I have not done much movement this week. Movement has been really a challenge after my surgery. So, um, yeah, like I said, these practices are going to be a little selfish for myself, but we can all benefit, right? From slowing down, just moving a little more intentionally, a little more slowly. Fall kind of calls for that. I'm a big fan of listening to nature, taking some cues from nature, right? When things start to slow down, we really should too. And if you look at like the practice of Ayurveda, they absolutely recognize the changing of season, change how you act, how you move, how you eat, how you sleep. All right, let's go the other direction. So elbows go back, up, forward, and down. And your hands are just kind of like limp here at your shoulders, just gently resting your hands on the front of your shoulders or wherever your hands end up, depending on your range of motion. So, with all of our programs, especially those of you that are participating in lifting programs, it's a lot of shoulders, right? And because they try to keep the workouts to around 30 minutes, there's not a lot of opportunity for good quality stretching, right? You have to really kind of push play on another stretching workout. So I encourage you to do that if you aren't already, because 30 minutes of lifting with like 2 minutes of stretching doesn't quite do it. All right, so relax your hands down now. We're gonna do a little side stretch. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna do. So I've got a yoga block. If you don't have a yoga block, that's all right. You could always use maybe, a nice fat War and Peace book, hardback or something like that. But I'm gonna use a yoga block just because I'm being extra careful. Because one of the things that could happen for my situation is a hernia, and I absolutely don't want a hernia. So we're going to bring our right hand down either to the floor, the block, or War and Peace. And we're going to extend our left arm up overhead, and then take a little side stretch, bending your right elbow. And you could close your eyes. Just think about your head remaining in line with your spine. So it's not dropping down, it's not looking up. You're just right in line with your spine. Now, there's many places you could feel this. Your side waist, obviously. You could feel it in your top shoulder. Those are probably going to be the two main spots. But think about anchoring your left sits bone down into whatever is below you, and then reaching your left hand fingertips in opposition to that. Now we're going to take our left hand to the back of our head, and you're just kind of cupping the back of your head. Now we are going to turn our sight, our gaze upward. And it doesn't have to be forceful, just as high as your gaze wants to go. And then on your exhale, we're going to drop little rotation of our left elbow down towards the ground. So you're going to feel this more in your thoracic spine, your upper spine. Inhale, a little tilt up. Exhale, a little tilt down. I'll do this about 3 more times. Just follow your breath. Inhale, tilt up. Exhale, tilt down. So it's subtle. It's not a massive spinal twist. Last one. Good. And return back to center. So if you're using a block or something, you could take it to your left side now, or just take your left hand down to the ground, whatever works. Okay, let's start with just a straight up side stretch. So left hand is down, little bend in your left elbow. We're going to sweep our right arm up and over and take just a straight up side stretch. Now our right side, our right sits bone is really pressing down into the surface below us. Our right hand fingertips are doing the opposite. They're extending away from that anchor on your right side. breath is filling and emptying your right lung. Good. Now, right hand again just kind of cups the back of the head. We're going to shift our gaze up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, drop your right elbow down towards the ground. Inhale, rotate up. Exhale, rotate down. Inhale, rotate up. Exhale, rotate down. 2 more at your own pace. Good, and return to center. Okay, so if you have a strap or a belt or a tie, I don't think our whole household owns a tie. I don't think my husband would know what to do with one if he saw one. This is an extra long yoga strap, which means I have to double it. Could probably triple it. And now we're going to change our leg positioning to straight out in front. Now you can still have a little something under you. I don't know if you can see it, but I've got one of those little crescent shaped meditation cushions. Those are one of my favorite yoga props. They're great for not just meditation, by the way, because sometimes a bolster is just like too much, right? It's too much height underneath you. So I find for me, a meditation is kind of the perfect height. So if your hamstrings are tight, you may want to have a little micro bend in them for this because we're really still focusing on the upper body. Another option is if you do have a bolster or a couch pillow and your hamstrings are tight, just kind of slipping it under your knees for this little session, just so you're not, overstretching your hamstrings. And if your hamstrings are really tight, that usually means that your back cannot stay straight with your legs straight. It's like one or the other, right? So if your hamstrings are really tight, little micro bend of some sort in them is going to allow you to sit up on those sits bones, on those ischial tuberosities. So I am going to actually put this in fours. So you want your strap, whatever it is, to be a little bit wider than your shoulders or shoulder width, something around there. So we're going to inhale, sit up tall and make your neck longer. Press your shoulders down away from your ears. And just pause here for a second. Close your eyes and just think about the nice posture happening in your spine right now, right? You're utilizing your back muscles, your extensors to hold yourself up, to elongate your spine. This sounds funny, but most people don't do this. Most people allow their back to round and their head to push forward, and that makes your head so much heavier. The further your head protrudes forward, when it's not in line with your spine, the heavier your head becomes on your cervical spine. So it's so important that we acknowledge what it feels like to be in a good postural position. All right, so from this excellent position, we're going to take a big breath in. And on our exhale, round your spine on purpose. Pull your navel in and reach your hands out. So your hands are still kind of pulling the strap apart. Now inhale, sit up tall, shoulders back, neck long, back to that perfect posture. And then exhale, really round everything. Contract through your abdominals. Push your hands forward. Inhale, sit up tall. Again, exhale, round and push. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, empty your lungs as you reach forward and round your spine. On your inhale, fill your lungs back up. Do that one last time. Exhale, round. And inhale, sit up tall. Good. Release your arms down. I can tell that I haven't done much for the week. I'm like, that felt like a lot on my arms. All right. So let's see. Next one, we're going to hold the strap in just our right hand. So just our right hand. It's going to go up and over our head. Then we're going to bend our right elbow and let our hand drop right behind our neck. The left hand will come around and find the strap. And then you can kind of inchworm yourself up the strap with your left hand. Okay, good. So our spine is long again. We're not in contraction, we're in extension. And we're just going to sit here for 5 or so breaths. So if you'd like, you can close your eyes and just focus. Most likely you're feeling this in your left shoulder. So again, listen to your body. If you're past that edge of where you're really in discomfort, just back off a little bit, back off a quarter or half an inch. Couple more deep breaths. And then we're going to slowly release. Bring your hands to your knees or your lap and just do a couple shoulder rolls backward. Okay, so same thing on the other side now. Left hand has the strap. I'm going to take it behind our head. Right hand comes back, find the strap. Inchworm your way up. Find that nice tall posture. And then close your eyes again. Again, if you've gone a little bit past the edge of comfort, back off slightly. So the idea is that if we're constantly forcing something, right? If we're constantly forcing a stretch or a strengthen or whatever, there is a certain amount of resistance, right? So in this practice, in a restorative practice, or if you've ever done a yin practice, the idea is that the stretch is very mellow so that you're actually able to receive it rather than fight it. So that's the concept we're going for here. 1 or 2 more breaths. And then slowly release. You can just take that strap and put it off to the side. We'll do some shoulder rolls again. Up, back, down, forward. All right, and release. So hopefully the neck, the shoulders, upper back starting to feel like we're making some progress. Okay, we're going to switch gears here and move down. I'm just kind of systematically moving down the body. So we're going to now focus more on the spine, on spinal flexion and extension, on all fours. So if you'd like a little extra padding for your wrists, you could either roll up the end of your yoga mat and put the heels of your hand on that rolled up part, or if you've got a bolster, a thick pillow, then by all means you could do that too. If your if your knees are bothering you, if being on them like this is a bother, just put something under them. Okay. So we're going to tuck our toes under. Oops, sorry, singing bowl. So we're going to tuck our toes, and I tend to hyperextend my elbows. So I've got to keep a tiny micro bend in my elbows or else they'll be really sore later. So we're just going to go into cat cow. Exhale, round your spine. That's flexion. And then the opposite is extension. extension. Ooh, I have to be very mellow in my extension. Exhale, round, press all your breath out. Inhale, extend, breathe in. Keep going. Exhale and inhale. Let's do 3 more. Exhale, round. And inhale, extend. Last one. Good. Then come to a neutral spine. You can flatten the tops of your feet out onto the ground now. So now we're going to take our spine in a lateral movement, side to side. So draw your navel to your spine first, so you support your lower back. And then on your exhale, we're going to go directly to your right side. So your right shoulder and your right hip are going to move towards each other. When they do that, feel the length on your left side. And then do the opposite. So again, we've got a contraction and then an expansion happening on the other side. And just go back and forth here. You may have a side that's a little tighter. Maybe you want to spend an extra breath there. That's fine. Good. Come back to center. Now we're going to take our right hand to our right ear. So we're not grabbing the back of our head or anything like that. We're just resting our right hand fingertips behind our right ear. Similar to what we did earlier, we're going to rotate our right elbow up towards the ceiling. And then on the exhale, press your right elbow into the inside of your left elbow. Inhale, right elbow up. And then exhale, squeeze, really draw your abs in when you connect elbow to elbow. Inhale up. And exhale, squeeze. 2 more. Inhale up. Exhale, squeeze. Last one. Good. Next inhale, take your right arm, straighten it, and reach your right hand fingertips towards the sky. On your exhale, we're going to thread our right arm through. You may have to adjust your bolster if you're using one. So now we're on our right shoulder, and you want to get your weight right on top of your right shoulder. Your left hand, that you can't see mine right now, but my left hand is still on the bolster. And I'm going to try to even out my hips. Then I'm going to press my left hand further into the bolster, and with my muscles, pull my left shoulder away from the bolster. Take 3 deep breaths here. Then push down into your left hand, come back to center, and in between sides, just do a couple of those little cat cows again. Flexion and extension. And then come back to neutral. Okay, all of that on our left side. So left hand, fingertips behind your left ear. Rotate your left elbow towards the ceiling. And then exhale, press your left elbow into your right. Rotate up on your inhale. And squeeze the air out as you press elbow to elbow. 3 more. Two more. Last one. Now, this time on your inhale, straighten your left arm. And exhale, thread your left arm through. Again, wiggle around till you find the right positioning where your weight is atop your left shoulder. Right hand is pressing into the floor of the bolster. Our hips are neutral, meaning one is not taking more weight than the other. And then we're going to pull using the rhomboid muscles that live under your shoulder blade to help draw your right shoulder blade further into your back. Deep breaths. One more full inhale and exhale. And then push into your right hand, come back to center, and do a few cat and cows. Okay, so if you've got a bolster, you can go ahead and push that off to the side for now. We're gonna come back to all fours. This time, separate your hands and your knees just a little bit more. See if I can do this with my small living room space here. So we're gonna do hip circles. So we're gonna pull our hips forward, weight comes over our hands, and then press your hips to the right, slowly back towards your heels, over to the left and forward. So slow movements here. Because as you go to the side, you may feel on the side of your rear end, your glute medius gets a really nice stretch as you push your hips out to the side. One more full rotation this way, and then we'll switch directions. Now at the top, switch, go to the left, back, right, or whichever way you haven't done. Last one. And back to center. All right, let's move a little further down the body. I am going to use 2 blocks, I think, for this one. Another great tool is if you bought the bench for Lift More. A lot of this stuff on your knees is really good using the bench. So for instance, this one, you could use the bench if your hamstrings are really tight, or if you've got a yoga block or 2 actually. I'm gonna go grab my second one for this because I have a little feeling my hamstrings are tighter than usual this week. All right, so we've got our yoga blocks. We're gonna bring our right leg forward. So your right leg is forward. The toes of your right foot, if you can see them, are pointing straight up towards the ceiling. And just like we talked about seated, we're gonna extend our spine. So we have that nice long posture in our spine. So I want you to think about this in terms of your pelvis. So think about your pelvis like a bowl, right? Right now, the bowl is kind of like we're spilling the contents out, right? The bowl is tipped backwards. But then as we push into the blocks and round our spine, our bowl is going to tilt forward. So as you go back and forth here, our spine is doing that little cat-cow motion we just did when we were on our knees. But because of the tilt of our pelvis, we're going in and out of stretching out the back of our right leg, right? The more your pelvis tilts down and you extend your spine, the more intense that stretch is going to be on the back of your right leg. So you can close your eyes here. Let's do 3 more little cats and cows. Twice more. Once more. Good, come to neutral. So now we're gonna bend our right knee, bring your blocks, if you've got them, forward. So they're slightly in front of your right foot. Now behind me, I'm straightening my left leg, okay? So we're in a runner's lunge here. So now the hip flexors of my left leg are getting the stretch. And just to kind of distract yourself here from intensity, if you have tight hip flexors, you can shift your weight into the toes of your left foot and then push back into your left heel. And this will also give you a little added stretch through your calves. Good. One more shift forward and back. Then we're going to come onto our left knee. I'm just shifting so that you can see me best. And now we're going to straighten out our right leg. And we've got our foot, our right foot, pointing straight forward. So if you're using blocks, you could adjust them to a lower level and push your butt straight back as you come down to your elbows, either on support or perhaps they're all the way on the ground. So now this is addressing our adductors, the inside of our right leg. And again, if it's super intense, you can do little micro bends in your right knee, or you could just kind of shift your weight forward a little bit, as long as you maintain nice steady breaths. Couple more. Good. Now from here, you can come back up onto your hands. We're going to tuck our right knee under us and come into child's pose. So in child's pose, your big toes touch underneath you. Your knees are wider than the width of your torso. Okay. Again, you could use blocks for this one if you want or not, but we're going to keep our hips back onto our heels and walk our hands away, dropping in, forehead down towards the mat, the floor. And we're going to take 5 deep breaths here, just letting the weight of our body sink down into our heels. Good. Then as you're ready, slide your hands. You could, if you're using blocks, you can slide them to right under your shoulders. And then we're going to push straight up. All right, let's switch sides. So now our left foot comes forward. Our blocks, if we're using them, are at their highest level, most likely. And we're going to turn the toes of our left foot straight up towards the ceiling again. So you should feel this all the way down the back of your left leg. If your toes are more forward and neutral, you're going to get less of a sensation of stretch in the back of your calves. And if you've ever had like plantar fasciitis, I have, that stems from very tight muscles in the back of our legs. So it is important that you stretch out your calves, your hamstrings. Okay, so now we're going to move through that little cat-cow motion here. So take a big breath in. On your exhale, round your spine, push your hands, heels of your hands down into your blocks. And then inhale, extend your spine long. Exhale, round everything, tilt your pelvis forward. And then inhale, tilt your pelvis back and extend your spine. 2 more times. Last one. Round. and lengthen. Nice. Okay, let's walk ourselves forward. I'm going to take my blocks to the second highest level, but it's all personal. And then your right leg behind you is going to straighten. Okay, so we're in that runner's lunge again. And you could shift forward and back a little bit, or just stay static, stay steady. So sensations here, possible again back in the calves. Most likely it's mainly felt in the front of your right hip. Again, you've got some hip flexors there. They're responsible for bending your knees. So if you spend a lot of time seated at an office chair or in a car, your hip flexors tend to be pretty tight, pretty stretched out, or not stretched out, stressed out. Good. One more back and forth if you're rocking. And then we're going to drop our right knee to the ground, reposition for the sake of the filming, back to the front. And now our left leg is straight out and our left toes are pointed straight forward. Okay. I'm going to adjust my blocks to a lower level. Some of you may not need to use them at all, or you may need them at the high level. Depends on how tight your adductors are. Okay, push your hips straight back. So think about making some distance between your hips and your heart. Always wanting to gently pull the abdominals in and up. This just helps protect your lower back. And again, you could rock a little here. You could play with a micro bend in your left knee if you're really tight. And then walk back up onto your hands, tuck your left knee in, left knee in. We're going to revisit child's pose one more time. So knees wider than your torso, big toes touch, block or no block, totally up to you. We're going to slide our hands or our blocks forward, press our hips back into our heels, drop our forehead, and take about 5 deep breaths. Good. When you're ready to come out, slide your blocks or your hands under your shoulders and then push into the heels of your hands to come straight up. All right, our final pose before we lay down for Shavasana is going to be legs up the wall, Viparita Karani. So this is an excellent asana. I have my husband doing this every single day. He's having a lot of knee pain lately. We spend so much time on our feet. And so this just gives our body an opportunity to not have to work so hard to get the blood to flow from our legs up towards our heart. And it just, very simply eliminates that pressure on our lower body. So I like to use a bolster, but if you don't have one, grab a couple pillows off the couch. My couch has really good bolsters. They're pretty dense. So you want something dense if you're looking for a yoga prop, by the way. So I've got this nice piece of open wall here. If you don't have an open wall space, you could always just put your legs up on the couch, right? With your knees bent. That would work too. That's also good if you have tight hamstrings. So we're going to get on this bolster. Because of my incisions, I'm going to be a little more careful than normal. So I'm going to come and put my butt on the wall on the end, one of the ends of the bolsters. Okay. And I'm going to drop down so that the weight is mainly in my shoulder. I'm going to roll myself onto the bolster. And that way you don't have to do a bunch of back and forth and, you know, sliding to get on the bolster. So this is it. This is the big reveal here. Legs up the wall. I highly recommend that you do it every single day, at least for 5 or 10 minutes. So if you're using a bolster, it should be mainly under your hips, under your butt. It shouldn't be accentuating your lumbar curve in your lower back. Most of us have a little too much of a curve. So let's focus again on our throat. So I want you to really soften the front of your throat, back of your neck. Feel the weight in your shoulders and arms. You can go back to that visualization of roots. This time, those roots are in your hips, your sacrum, and they're gently grounding you down, rooting you down, creating a stable base so that your legs, your feet can be like those tree trunks and branches. On every exhalation, feel your belly just kind of relax, kind of scoop down towards your spine. Go back to that idea of your inhale being just as long as your exhale. Steady breath in, steady breath out. We're just going to spend about a minute here. Again, giving ourselves this little break on your legs, on your feet. So good for circulation. If you've got any kind of varicose veins, spider veins, if you tend to hold on to fluid in your lower legs, this is the pose for you. And there's lots of variations. You can do, soles of your feet together, let your knees drop wide. That's getting back into those adductors. That can be a little intense if you're really, really, really tight in your hips and groin. Sometimes the gravity pull is a little much. So you are your best judge. Just about 10 more seconds here. And then as we come out, we're just gonna slide our feet down if they were extended up, bend your knees and just go back the way you came. Just roll onto that same side that you got into it from and pull yourself up. All right, as always, our final asana is gonna be Shavasana. So I like personally to have a bolster under my knees, between my knees and hamstring, somewhere in that position. I'm going to stay seated up just so I can talk you through this. But go ahead and lay down on your back, whether you're on a bolster or not, totally up to you. So once you're situated, I want you to turn your palms up to face the ceiling or the sky if you're doing this outside, and just kind of tuck your shoulder blades under you a little bit more so that you really feel an expanse across your chest, shoulder to shoulder, lots of space there. And if you haven't already, go ahead and close your eyes just softly. We're going to go through the body kind of part by part, intentionally bringing some tension into an area and then intentionally releasing that area. This is a wonderful practice that you could do on your own. It's really great if you have a hard time sleeping. You could go through this little practice of just, again, purposefully putting tension in an area and then very consciously releasing the tension from that area. So just take a moment to feel your body on the ground. Notice what parts of your body are in contact or touching the surface beneath you. The back of your head, parts of your upper back, parts of your arms, tops of your hands, parts of your hips and pelvis, parts of your legs, your heels. And just take a little mental scan of your body from the top of your head to the tips of your fingers and toes. And without judgment, acknowledge any places that are holding on to tension, or perhaps places that feel kind of unreachable, maybe numb. They need a little more energy sent their direction. No storytelling, just observation. Now we're going to start with our right leg. So your whole entire right leg is going to experience tension first. So I want you to slightly lift your right leg, point your toes away from your body. Feel the tension in the front of your leg, your quadriceps, top of your right foot. Then flex your right foot. Now the sensation runs from your hamstrings, maybe even your glutes, all the way down through your lower leg, pushing out through your heel. Breathe as you hold this tension. And then on your exhale, release your right leg to the ground. Feel the heaviness, the comfort. No more tension left in your right leg. Observe the difference in sensations between your right and your left leg. And let's move to our left leg. Same thing on this side. Lift it just a little bit, maybe an inch off the ground. Point your toes away. Experience tension in the front of your left leg. Flex your left foot. Experience the tension in the back of your left leg. Breathe. And on an exhale, release your entire left leg down to the ground. Feel the comfortable heaviness in your legs. Let's move upward to your belly, to your stomach. On your next inhale, fully inflate your stomach. Fill it up with air, filling up your lungs to their fullest potential. And exhale, release all of the air out of your lungs. Take a full breath in. And now we're going to really squeeze the air out. So exhale all the air out completely, but then pull your abdominals in even further. Holding for a moment at the end of your exhale, and then take a big breath in and exhale, relax. So as we progressively move from body part to body part, once you've tensed and released a body part, I want it to stay relaxed. So from here on out, the legs, we need to do the glutes. So let's do the glutes. So squeeze your glutes, squeeze your butt. Your pelvis comes away from the floor a little bit. Hold that tension in your glutes. Hold, hold. And then evenly, both sides, gently release your glutes, maybe releasing any residual tension in your lower back. And now from your stomach and lower back, all the way down to the tips of your toes, that area is done. No more tension is going to be felt in those areas. Let's move up to the chest, the middle and upper portions of your lungs. On your next inhale, again, hold the inhale. Billow out your chest like you're really proud. Remember our proud card. I am proud. Feel it here. As if there's a little light shining out through your chest and your heart. And then on your exhale, release. Let your chest just fall back down. Take a big breath in again. And on your exhale, I want you to pull your sternum down towards the floor beneath you. Hold that exhale until you can't hold it anymore. And then inhale in. Relax the chest. Let's move to our right arm. Make a fist with your right hand. Pick up your right arm just an inch off the ground. Bend your right elbow and flex your biceps. Feel the tension in your forearms. And then extend your right arm straight. Extend all 5 fingers of your right hand wide. Feel that tension down your forearm, your triceps. And on an exhale, let your fingers curl in as you release your whole right arm to the ground. Soft, heavy, relaxed. Feel the difference between your right arm and your left. Now let's even things out. Make a fist with your left hand. Bend your left elbow. Squeeze. Feel the strong biceps, strong muscles in your lower arm. Straighten your left arm. Spread all 5 fingers of your left hand wide. Hold the tension. Feel the back of your arm fire up. And then let your fingers curl in, soften your palm, release your entire left arm to the ground. And feel all tension being released from your shoulders all the way down to your fingertips. And finally, let's move up to the face. Think about the knot at an end of a balloon. All crinkled, all puckered up. That's what I want you to do to your face. Make a terrible face. Drop your eyebrows, squeeze your eyes, tighten your jaw, squish up your mouth, hold tension in your face, forehead, cheeks, chin, mouth, nose, eyes, all crinkled up. Hold that tension. And then on an exhale, soften your entire face, every laugh line, every worry line fills in. Your jaw relaxes, your teeth separate inside your mouth. As you exhale, your eyes sink a little deeper back into their sockets. And from the top of your head to the tips of your fingers and toes, your body is physically relaxed. Now we let the mind follow the path that the body has made. We let our minds become untethered to concern, untethered to thought. Again, we let go of the storyteller. We take the seat of the passive observer. If thoughts come up, and they will, we see them almost like clouds on the blue canvas of the sky. They're there, and then they're gone, morphing, shifting, doing their thing. But we're not in charge of those changes. We're not in charge of the movement. We're just passively watching. If we get distracted into a thought, pulled into a story, we have a constant that we can use to pull us back into this idea of observer. And that's our breath. We can always return back to that simple act of listening to every inhale, to every exhale. Can observe and feel the cool breath as it comes in through your nostrils. And notice the warmth of your breath as it leaves your body back out of your nostrils. Two more complete breaths here. And then very gently place one hand near your heart and the other hand near your stomach. And repeat our little affirmation. I am proud. Allow yourself to truly be proud of your accomplishments, not just in work, but in life. Proud that you are a kind, loving person. Proud of yourself for being a part of this little funky online wellness community. Proud of yourself for being here, encouraging others, lifting others up. And then whatever other accomplishments in your life that pop up, take a moment to just let the corners of your mouth turn upward and truly be proud of yourself. And with that, little warmth of knowledge in your heart, go ahead and release your hands. Start to slowly wiggle your toes and your fingers. Stretch your arms up over your head. Gently roll onto your right side. Keep your eyes closed. Just stay in that mellow, warm space. And then gently use your hands to press yourself up to whatever comfortable seated position works for you. Let's bring our hands together right at the center of your heart. May the benefits of your practice today move forward with you. Let your practice, your intention be an impetus for your day. Change the mood in a room. Be the calm, be the light. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.